Hey, what's up everybody? Danny Lightning here. We got Max the Gamer on the channel with me. We're going to be doing some fun live chatting with you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about installing fusions and upgrading cars today because there's a lot of people who a lot of new guys don't really understand this too much. And then after we get into that, we'll start doing some Q&A type things for you guys. And say hello to Max, everybody.
Hey there. Hello, everyone.
So I see OP players. What's going on? LOL gamers. Omniverse is here. I see Max is in the chat. What are you doing in the chat, buddy? You're supposed to be in here with me. Ha! There's my dad joke for the day. Clavia, what's up? Anthony, how's it going? AB Barry, or is it maybe that's Ab Barry? I'm not really sure. One or the other. We got Raid. We got Top Giver. Who else is here today? I think I just scrolled by something that said it's somebody's birthday. If it was, happy birthday to whoever that was. Now I can't see it again. But anyways, how y'all doing today, guys? Hopefully awesome. TS, what's going on, buddy? David, what's up? RLG, how's it going? Alright, so let me go ahead and we got Max's Garage here live on the stream. So one thing I've noticed is a lot of people get a car and they start upgrading it a little bit and they say, hey, my car is maxed out. And sometimes they don't have any stage 6 parts on that car. And sometimes they don't even have any fusion parts installed on that car. Just because they got it up to stage 5, they think they're running a maxed out car. And they're like, why can't I beat Shax? Or why can't I beat this? Or why can't I beat that? And then I have to explain to them, hey, that car is not maxed out unless you have all of the stage 6 parts and all of the fusion parts. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about, fusion parts and what they do for your cars and stuff like that. Max actually has some awesome things set up for you guys so he can demonstrate that. So
yes,
what do you
sir.
got to show us
We got
today?
it all set up. Well, Danny, what we have here is a common tier 5 that a lot of beginners will encounter, and that is the 570S. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a few quick comparisons to kind of help the newer guys understand what an upgrade, a fully upgraded versus a partially upgraded car really can be like. Let's start off with fully upgraded. This red 570S here is fully upgraded. What does that mean? What it means is that in CSR2, not only do you have to have the car upgraded to each of the stages up to 5, these are the paid stages you upgrade, you also have to acquire the stage 6s, and you have to acquire them for 7 different parts. Once you've done that, you also need to fill out every one of these little slots with these things called fusions. Once you have everything filled, when you go look at your car in the inventory section right here, it'll show it with these numbers: 42 out of 42, 110 out of 110. That is a fully maxed car. If you don't have these numbers matched out to the end, your car is not fully maxed. Now, performance can change dramatically between a fully maxed, fully fusion car versus a built car but no fusion, or built car with stage 6s. Let's take a look at that. One of the things here, we'll look at the dyno of a fully maxed car. This is not necessarily the absolute optimal dyno, but 9.389 is about where this car is when it's fully maxed. However, let's go look at the next car. What happens if you're missing fusions? How much time difference can fusions make? Well, apparently quite a bit. If you go to the next car here, this is a car that is full stage 6, but we're not looking at full fusion here. I have not installed any fusions on any of these stage 6s. So we're just missing those fusions. Let's go take a look at this car's max dyno. Bear with me, some of these screens load a little bit slow. Again, I tuned it not necessarily to the absolute best, but the best I can given the circumstances with this car. Okay, you want to get as high as you can with the points, but this will give you a general idea where it's at. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I messed up. Sorry, Denny. This is this card. I forgot we were playing around with the stages. I forgot to reinstall all the stages. So these are missing a lot of stages. So let's go ahead and go back and put this car to full stage 6.
Max, I can't believe you're not ready.
I'm not ready. I'm sorry, Denny. I failed you. I was too busy showing off earlier. I forgot. All right.
Danish, however you pronounce that. I suck at reading. Basically, he's streaming his screen to my computer, and then I'm streaming it to you guys. So that's how you're seeing Max's screen. I can switch back and forth to my garage or his garage if needed.
All right, so this is more like it right here, okay? So we're actually getting somewhere with these tunes. We'll talk about that Evo drop in a different video, but right now let's get to as high as we can about here. So this is a 10.033. If you remember, just earlier I showed you a fully maxed car. It is a 9.4 or 9.389. So literally just the fusions off of just the stage 6s, you lost 6/10 plus in time. Okay, this is how important fusions are. Now, what about if I had no fusions on a stage 6 car? How much more time are you going to lose? Well, we can find out pretty easily because I got one set up right here for you. Let's look at that car's dyno. Now this car, again, is full stage 6, fully tuned with no fusions. 11 seconds. Now you're almost 2 seconds slower because you don't have fusions. This is why fusions, when we talk to newer players, we always say you got to install fusions because 2-second difference here without the fusions. So a lot of guys then ask, well, I want to be Shax, okay? I want to be Shax. How can I be Shax? Well, let's take a look at another variation of the car here. And this one is going to be stage 5 without any fusions. This is what a lot of players call fully maxed car. I'm sorry, that's where you're wrong. This is not even close to max. This is only fully built to stage 5 with no fusions. And this is where the mistake comes in. You know, newer players think that, hey, I upgraded, I spent all that money. How can my car still be so slow? Well, because upgrading in this game doesn't mean that much. You really need fusions, and fusions make or break your car. So everything about the game is about acquiring fusions and stage 6s for specific cars. Stage 5 only, no fusions, will not be Shax, right? Because you're looking at a 12-second car here. Even if I tune it better, it's not going to really get much better than this. And this is, Denny, what we were talking about earlier, the importance of fusion and the time differential between stage 5, stage 6, and then no fusion all the way to full fusion. It's a big difference, and it's almost 2-second plus when you really look at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people who ask me, can I beat Shax with this car? I don't have any parts in this thing. And I'm just like, no, there's not that many cars except for maybe some of the like really good ones that are going to beat Shax. You got to get parts in your car, guys. So if you're a new player, this is something you guys really need to take into consideration here, because having parts in your car is so important. Like for the Prestige Cups, all that stuff. So it's crazy important, guys. Crazy important. I know this is pretty basic for some of you, but it's going to help a lot of other players out as well.
All right. I'm seeing some questions scroll through here. Danny, do we want to address them real quick?
Sure,
before
why not?
Yeah, the list gets too long. It's hard to go back to see them all. All right. Let's take a look here.
There are a few cars that'll beat Shax without stage 6 parts, but it's got to be one of the better ones.
Well, actually, let's talk about beating Shax again, because that seems to be like the biggest question, right? Since we got this car here, so stage 5 no fusion, the 570S is at 12.1. Now we know Shax runs around a 11.89 or something, 11.88. So you want to run what, like 11.7 or better, to be sure. Am I on the ballpark for that time? Because I'm pretty sure I remember Shaq's run somewhere around 11.9 to 11.8.
Yeah, I believe he runs around 11.9s right now. Last
Okay.
I heard, he was running like an 11.9 or a 12.0.
All right. So this is where the Fusions will push even the 570S over the limit against Shaq's. Because if you start adding Fusions to this car, every Fusion adds a certain amount of points, right?
Yes.
These points translate to speed and time. So let's just add some greens here.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
and
noticed
we'll
some stage or some parts, like some fusions may do more than others. Like if you add fusions to the tires on one car, that might do more than adding like transmission fusions. You know what I'm saying there?
Absolutely, and that is correct. I mean, on some of these higher speed cars, some of these stages, like if you go to turbo on certain cars, you click here and it's like plus 30, plus 40. I've seen plus 120 on some cars. It's crazy what some cars, some Fusions will do. This is extremely important, again, to watch. If you click on it and it tells you -1 or +2, it's probably not as good.
Yeah,
but anything that's, you know, really high, you definitely want those Fusions. And what's also surprising, Danny, is sometimes the stages that generally suck, like intake, the Fusions actually does a lot. So never underestimate any stages Fusions. You really have to play around to find out. I mean, you just can't rely on, you know, this stage must suck and therefore it's no good. It doesn't work that way.
And occasionally you'll see a fusion part that has a negative next to it, saying it's going to give you a -10 or a -12 or something. Generally, that freaks people out. They're like, oh no, if I install this is going to be bad. But generally, if you see that, it just really means I think you need to retune the car, and it usually goes back up. Is that the same thing you found with that, Max?
Absolutely. So negative isn't always bad, because what it is it could be that the grip became too strong for the final drive. That's a tuning issue. We're not going to talk about that yet, but that just retune the car. Generally, when you see negative, don't be afraid. Just retune the car. But Fusions always help. Notice just with some green Fusions, we've dropped from 12.1 to 11.9 already. That's how much difference these Fusions make.
It's a very huge difference. Now I had something I wanted to add about when you do install Fusion parts. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my garage really quick.
Sure.
Let's see. Alright, so now we're over in my garage. Now you see how this specific part here holds 4 Fusions. This one holds 2. This one holds, well, 2. It would hold 3 if I Elite Customs it. This one holds 2. What I usually do is I try and get my car all the way up to stage 5 before I start installing any Fusion parts. And then I find the part that holds the most Fusions, and that's the one where I install the parts first. I hope that makes sense to you guys, because sometimes you might run out of Fusion parts. Oh, that didn't go where I wanted it to go. Hold on a second, guys. Sometimes it does weird things. I can't see any of my stuff here. I'm having a problem. All right. That was not a good part. Let me try to find let's find the transmission, okay? Now, like, say you, let me find a good one. Man, this may not be the best car. Alright. I think I picked the wrong car. For this one, for example, let's just say you started installing, like, the first ones first with the smallest parts. Crap, this is the worst car possible to do an example of this. Alright. But you might have to put, like, let's just pretend this was 2 greens. Not a green, a blue, and a purple. Sometimes you might have to put 2 greens in before you can put in a blue. Alright? But if you filled up your green slots and then you ran out right out of greens and you got to this one, and you didn't have a green slot to put in here, then you'd have missed putting in some higher tier parts. I probably just confused the crap out of everybody on this one. This was not the right car to show that, unfortunately. I just kind
Yeah,
of
this one, I
randomly-
think, is that a T? That's a T5 or
This one's a tier 4 car.
Tier 4? I think a T5 would be better to show that information.
Let's grab Sesto Elemento here. Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Oh, your favorite car in the world." This one should have a couple parts that are like that for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So for example, right here, look how many parts are in this. This stage 5 has 5 fusion parts to install. This one has 3. This one has 1. This has 2. But if I were to run out of, let's just say I installed this green one, this green one, this green one, and then I got to right here and I didn't fill this one up first, I might not have been able to add those 2 blue parts because I used up all my greens. If I would have started here and just went green fusion, blue fusion, install the green one, then I got to this one, and let's say I didn't have a green one to install, then I would have missed out on filling up those 2 blue ones. Or if I would have got to this part and I would have didn't have a green one, then I would have missed out on installing all of those if I would have had them. Hopefully hopefully I'm making sense here.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to repeat what you're saying is, the way the game works is you have to load the fusions from the left to the right. So if you're not loading the left fusion, it's not going to give you access to the next slot.
Yes.
Now, if the first slot is green and you don't have any reds, but you have 2 blues, it'll be a waste to waste your blues on something that, you really can't put the next slot in. For example, Danny, can you go to the stage 5? I think that one has 3 reds on it, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you have no reds. Okay, you have a green and 3 blues or 2 blues available to you. By filling in this green and that blue, you're really wasting it because that 3rd blue can't go in. So you're almost better going to stage 4 and making sure all 3 gets leveraged. This will help you get your car faster, quicker.
But yeah, so I always look for the parts that hold the most fusions. For example, stage 5 here holds more fusion parts than any of the other stages. So I always get my car up to stage 5, and then I start filling the stage that holds the most fusions. All right, and it really doesn't matter if I don't have parts in stage 1 or stage 2. Let's just say I didn't have enough to fill it up. It would be so much better to install all of these and then miss out installing a green on like stage 1 or a stage 2. So always find the ones that hold the most after you've upgraded it and start filling those ones first. That's pretty much the point I wanted to make there on that one.
All right, so I'm looking at a question from Chris L, since we're on the Sesto Elemento, about the tire spin when shifting gears. What happens with the Sesto and the Lb Aventador and a few other cars is you have to launch it late. If you're launching it on perfect or you launch it early, it will kind of hang. The needle will hang and you'll lose a lot of time. So you really have to launch that car late. That is just a driving technique with this particular car as well as the Lb Aventador. No perfect launches, and you'll avoid that tire spin issue.
Yeah, some cars are a little bit strange and you got to shift them very weird to avoid the tire spin.
Yeah, I mean, these cars, launching and shifting is a whole nother topic, but it's also just as important for most players to learn how to particularly shift a particular car. Some of them are very easy to shift and some have crazy shift patterns, but they make a big difference in how well the car will perform for you.
Yeah, I do have a nice video all about how to drive the Sesto Elemento because it's a very, very tricky car. It should be on my How to Drive playlist if you'd like to look that up. I explain how to get a good start on it and how to shift it and all that good stuff. And as long as your car is up to probably stage 4 or stage 5 or stage 6, that shift pattern should work very well for you. But it's definitely one of the more tricky cars, and a lot of people have a really hard time driving this one, and they just give up on it, which is a shame because this is an amazing live racing car overall. Go ahead, Max. You were gonna say something there?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you on that. What I was gonna do is, if while you're on your side, I'm going to go ahead and find an F12 because a lot of people have that car, and it seems to be a car that's confusing a lot of players when it comes to using it for shacks. Because I'm still seeing questions about shacks popping on the question and on the chat. Hold on one second here. You know, it's amazing. I have this video garage and I cannot find one F12 in it.
Brandon Baker, the S15 Rocket Bunny does not have the top speed to make it through Tempest 3. Like, it can do everything except for those 0 to 100 races. Not the 0 to 100, the top speed races. You have to hit, what, like 265, I think it is?
260 mile per hour in the half.
That
yeah,
car
that's
barely
it's not
breaks
a speed
200. So that car is not going to make it even if it's fully maxed out. RLG, buddy, you should be doing your homework, but we're glad you're here. Just make sure you get it done, bud.
Don't have your parents ban us from your viewing channels because you didn't get your homework done.
OP Players asked something. I'm trying to figure out what his question was here.
Let's see.
Well, Max is looking for that. I'm streaming through the other questions. I don't see your question. I see you wanted me to answer something, but I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. Alright, I'm going back down to the bottom of the questions now.
Boy, this is all these cars and you can't find the F12. All right,
Mystic, Max is actually looking for his F12 right now.
I don't even know if I have one.
Really?
Apparently on this, this is the account I use for making some videos, and I thought I would have access to all kinds of different cars in here, but I only have a stock F12 in it. Never been built. So I unfortunately can't showcase the F12 on here, but I did. Are we back on my screen?
Yes, we are on your screen right now.
All right. So remember we were talking about adding fusions earlier, right? I showed you guys it went to 11.9 with just a few green fusions. Well, here's a 570S, stage 5. Okay, no stage 6s, just the green fusions. Okay, I put them in all of these stages now, just the green ones. And notice with the nitrous, it adds quite a bit of Evo per fusion. Now, this car with no blue and no red fusions, stage 5, let's take a look at the time. Wow, looks like Shax is going down, right? Just like that, you now can beat Shax. So don't ignore fusions, because we were about 0.3 of a second off, or 0.2 of a second off from Shax without the fusions, and just with these green ones, I managed now to get to 11.6. Of course, another tip is do not go take on Shax without making some test runs, because these cars are not always easy to drive. And you don't want to go, you know, all looking at your 11.6, run in there, try to take on Shax, and you end up doing like a 11.95 and lose to him by 100. So you definitely want to test run it a little bit. These cars with fewer fusions tend to run with a lot quicker shifts, and you don't want to mess that up. But if you get it right, this car should run at least 11.6, 11.7, which will guarantee that you have no problem taking Shax down. So let's see what we ran there. Not the best shift, but should be good enough. Notice I lost 0.2. That would have been cutting it really close.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so test run. Get the hang of how to drive the car before you take on any boss. And that applies in Tempest too. I've seen too many players get too confident because they look at their dyno and they go, oh man, I'm going to go get that boss car, and they end up losing. And you only get one shot. There's no second tries here. So you don't want to mess it up.
A lot of these bosses are actually very easy to beat as long as you're patient. I mean, you can take that F12 and you can beat Shax, no problem. You can beat the first Tempest boss, no problem. You can beat the second Tempest boss, no problem, if you have enough parts into the F12. Now, when it comes to the third Tempest boss, though, you got to be really careful with the F12, even if it's maxed out, because I'm actually not 100% sure I would use that car, because you're cutting it so close. Maxed out, it runs just a teeny tiny bit faster, and you don't have much wiggle room at all. Alright, you have pretty much no wiggle room for error, so the Lamborghini Huracan is really the one I would use for Tempest 3 for trying to beat the boss, but I mean, the F12 is a great car for Shaq's Tempest 1 and Tempest 2.
Absolutely. Now, with regard to these cars and with regard to parts for Tempest, right? Tempest has a lot of what they call stage drops because they have PP limitations, okay? Performance point limitations. So when you're doing Tempest, and since we're talking about building cars for specific users, let's say you're building for Tempest 2. You have these limitations. You can't have more than, let's say, 685 performance points. What you're going to want to do is drop parts. And when you drop parts, you always want to watch the number drop here per part stage you do. Because some of these will drop 3 points. Some of these will drop 1 point. Now, if I was going to give up 1 point and all those Evo versus 3 points and all those Evo, of course I'd rather give up the 3 points. So that is the part drop technique when it comes to building a car for Tempest, is when you start dropping stages, drop the ones that drop the most performance point. But still watch the Evo. You don't want to lose a few hundred Evo with one stage, even if it drops more performance point, because that could hurt you. So it's a balancing act of figuring out what's the best things to drop. I tend to find body tend to have a lot of performance point limits. When you completely drop body, usually it drops quite a bit of points off, but that's not true of every car. So you have to play with that.
Yeah, every car is always a little bit different. That's what I've noticed.
Absolutely, and it depends on the car. For example, let's take a look at another interesting car that a lot of players been asking about, and that is the Gt3 Rs, whatchamacallit package, whatever. I can't pronounce that. So, this car was free to everybody, right? For the most part, if you were playing during those days, they gave you this car, and everybody wants to build this car for Tempest because, hey, this is a free Purple Star Tier 5. Well, this car has a little problem. It's not very good at sprints, particularly not good for Tempest 2 sprints, because those are really both 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 sprints. So I've been testing this car and I figured something out I'm going to share with you guys on the live stream, and that is this car actually doesn't like nitrous for sprints. It really loves body, tire, and trans for sprints, but it doesn't really care about these, okay, for sprints, which is interesting. If you look here, with these upgrades, it actually sprints much better than if I upgraded all the others and took those out. So if you're looking at Tempest 3, it's a 0 to 100 sprint that you're dealing with. And this car, even at the 5.0 setup, you kind of, third, fourth gear here, you're looking at a 2.254 0 to 100. That's just good enough to get through Tempest 3's Tier 5's toughest sprint. And a 1.437 0 to 60, I recall in Tempest 2 at 699 performance point, there's one of those 0 to 60s, I think it's a 1.8 requirement. So you really got to have the right parts with this car to get these kind of sprints. But what's also interesting is every time I go online, I read people say, oh, put tire to 0 100, it'll be better sprint. Well, not always. As you can see, it actually got slower when you put the tire to 0 100. So never assume everything's always this way. This is the beauty of this game. You got to test different setups, and it'll make it much more interesting for you once you start to play with it and figure these things out. This is actually completely different than what's anticipated. 5347 is faster than 0 100 tire.
Now,
I'm not using nitrous.
One thing I've noticed in this game is the Porsches are always very hit and miss. Like, certain Porsches do very well and some of them are just kind of okay. But I mean, just because you have a tier 5 car with a lot of stars and sometimes even purple stars doesn't always necessarily mean that car is going to be good at everything. And a lot of people kind of make that mistake thinking, oh, this car is going to be great. It's got 5 stars, it's got purple stars, it's tier 5. It'll do everything I need it to, but that's not always the way it works. Like, every car is very, very different in this game. So you kind of want to look up and make sure your car is capable of doing what you need it to do before you actually start upgrading certain cars. That's one piece of advice I would love to give to some new players, because there's many times where I've got a car that I thought, oh, this was going to be amazing. I run out and I upgraded it and dumped all these parts into it, and then I was like, oh man, this car stinks. So
yeah,
don't expect
we've all been there.
So don't expect it to be amazing just because it looks good on paper. Make sure it actually is good on paper. Check those charts, you know. Usually in all of my videos I have a link to there's a link in my video descriptions that shows you a chart of every single car in the game and how fast they are. And you can always compare the cars, figure out if that car is going to be fast enough for what you're trying to accomplish and stuff like that. So definitely check those links out, guys. That's one of the most helpful things in the game, is that sheet right there. I believe it's made by one of the moderators over on the Reddit page for CSR2. And sometimes when the newest cars get added to that, it can take a little while for the newest cars to end up on the list, because they're usually waiting to figure out what the fastest time possible is and all that stuff. But that sheet is a lifesaver, guys.
It's good to have that, because that information gives you a starting point to work backwards from. That's always easier.
Yes.
So yeah, if you can get a hold of that sheet, absolutely get a hold of it. Save it on your phone, save it on your computer. Very good reference information.
Now, someone earlier said, can you show us the F12, because they would much rather, or show me the F40, because they were saying they need a better car than the F12. But the F12 and the F40 are two different tier cars, so those aren't really comparable. Now, the F40 is an amazing, in my opinion, it's one of the better tier 4 cars in the game for dyno busting and live racing and stuff like that. But it's not something you're gonna be able to easily beat Tempest with either, because again, that car has its limitations. It's great at top speed, but it just doesn't have the acceleration you need for Tempest 3, I believe.
Yeah, I have to look at it again. So while you were talking, I kind of reset this car a little bit, and I just want to mention this, why I did that. Notice I added all the nitrous, I added all the engine, turbo, etc. But guess what? Now with less trans and tire and no body, look at that 0 to 100. It's a second slower. So we are making theoretically more power in a sense, because you're adding power adder stages. But this car actually doesn't like it. It makes it harder for it to hit those sprints. So this is something you always want to look at when you look at a car. Now, I'm seeing in the chat a lot of questions about the Huracan Coupe from Truly Beast Mode. So if you don't mind, Danny, I'm going to jump to one of the Huracans and see if I can talk a little bit about that car.
Yeah, go for it. Real quick, Karam says that the Mono is one of the best cars for Tempest, because if you put the final drive to 5.0, it's great for the sprints. Yes, moving your final drive over to the right always gives you a lot more acceleration, but unfortunately, on some cars, that won't even help. So, every car has different strengths and different weaknesses, but on a car that does really good on sprints, moving that final drive to the right usually makes it accelerate crazy fast, but then your shift pattern is going to be so quick most of the time, it's unbelievable.
Alright, so let's talk about the Huracan Coupe, one of my favorite tier 5 3-star cars that does everything all the way up to Tempest 3, beats dyno, but you lose a lot of evo points depending on how you tune it. But it's an all-around good car because it's very tunable and it's very fast. Okay, so let's take a look at this car with stage 5 full fusion. Now, if you tell me you have a stage 5 Huracan and you have full fusion and you can't beat Shax, maybe you need some tuning help. But generally speaking, you should be able to really destroy Shax at this point, given that this car, even if I don't tune it well, will run something like 11.5 with that. Now, if you tune it to max evo, and that's really just looking at these numbers, you just put these things wherever that number keeps going up, just keep going with that and tweak it back and forth until you get the best number you can. And I'm not sure that's the best number yet. You could probably go more. But At this point, you're looking at a 10.6 car. Okay, this is a fast car. Fully maxed, it's an 8.2.
Something
Denny,
like
I
that.
think that's this is fast.
Low eights.
Low eights. Okay, now it's not easy to drive by any means. Now,
not at all.
It's actually very hard to drive. Yeah, that's not my favorite thing about this car. But so what happens is this car's interesting point is that it is both strong, very strong in sprinting. In fact, look at these 0 to 60 times. You're gonna get these down to like the 0.7s or 8s once you're fully maxed. On the other hand, in the beginning, it looks like it's not very good at speed traps, but it's very easy to tune for speed traps. All you have to do is kind of go this way, lower the grip, increase to the where you want to hit on the speed trap. For example, you want to hit like 250, 260. It'll say 227, but by using nitrous a little bit on the late side, you can actually push the car pretty much to 20 mile per hour over whatever it says it can do. So it's a good car in that sense, but you really have to be careful to, use the nitrous late enough. This car starts decelerating as soon as you get off nitrous, and that's one of the things that when you're doing speed traps with the Huracan Coupe, you have to be very careful of. So, very good car. Now, if you pulled a 3-star Huracan, how do you build it? That was the question. How do I build this car, right? It's great I got it, but I have no parts. So this is one of the few Tier 5s that actually has a dealership equivalent. So we're going to go look at that real quick. Lamborghini.
Real quick, OP players, the main reason I haven't made a Discord is I have so many questions coming in on YouTube, I couldn't actually keep up with YouTube and Discord for this game at the same time.
And that's always the case when you have so many subscribers and viewers. You get overwhelmed with questions.
I mean, sometimes I get 800 to sometimes 2,000 comments a day on this channel, so I got to go through all those and try and find everybody's comments. It gets kind of crazy.
That is crazy. That's a lot of questions.
Oh, I spend 4 hours a day sometimes going through just this channel's comments.
All right, so let's talk about this. So you have the no star, but you can buy for 1 million in-game money Huracan Coupe. Now this one's slower than the one with the 3-star. So never build the no star unless you just absolutely need it for initial part to get through shacks, but I would never recommend you to build this. On the other hand, if you buy this car and strip it, every part that comes off of this Huracan Coupe can go, unless it's a duplicate, can go right back on your 3-star and make it faster and faster. This is how you max out the 3-star Huracan Coupe, by buying this and stripping it. Also keep in mind, Lamborghini Fusions are going to be able to go on any Lamborghini. So if you have other Lamborghini cars and you have duplicate Fusions, you can start slowly building those Lamborghinis and filling them out with Fusions. So that's how it would work. That being said, because it's random and the game loves giving you green Fusions.
Sure does.
It does, I'm telling you.
Dang it, Donna.
Yeah, I hate her. But you end up with far more greens than you'll ever have red. So you could take 20, 30 cars to get that final red Fusion you need to max out one Lamborghini. So it's kind of a long-term game here. It's not something you're going to do overnight.
Pretty nice car overall, but yeah, I mean, I don't even know how many Huracans and F12s I actually had to strip before I maxed mine out. I'm guessing somewhere in the 30 to 40 range. So it was a very
30 to 40 is about right.
Very expensive, very long process, but it was it was worth it. I mean, I really like both of those cars. I still use both of those cars for certain things every once in a while. I mean, it sucked. It sucked having to spend $1 million cash to buy one just to strip it. Now, I'll tell you what, the worst thing was getting those last couple of Fusions for it. Oh, man.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, that was the last 10 cars, right? For that one Fusion.
Hello to everybody that's just showing up on the channel. It's kind of hard to say hello to everybody as they show up because it kind of breaks the chain of our comments or whatever, but we really appreciate all of you guys coming out here. Someone asked if we're going to see CSR2 anytime soon, but the way they keep adding new stuff to this game, I really don't think we're going to see that. I think they're just going to keep building on top of this game for quite a while. So I say we have a good several years before CSR2 ever comes out.
So one of the things you're going to see a lot with this car is we talk about beating dyno and you know, using it in live, for example. So as you can see at this kind of level of upgrade, the lower grip here gives you 1200, okay, and it's a 10.4 versus more grip. At some point, I'm gonna lose a few hundred Evo real fast. That moves it to a 10.7. Generally speaking, when that happens, if you're talking about using this car in live, that's where the car becomes somewhat competitive in live because it now can do better. Now, the problem with the Huracan Coupe is most people can't even drive it to dyno. So you don't beat dyno, you're not even making dyno. That's not good. It's one of those weird cars that it's a little hard to get it just right. And 0 RPM drop like I just got there means I'm going to run a 10.7 at best. So you want to launch a little late and then, you know, it'll do better. But this is an interesting car in that it can be useful in live as well. So that's a bad run, but you can see 11.0 on a 10.7 dyno. It's not exactly good. However, I can still play with it and make it run a little better. Let's do another run, but we're going to launch late this time.
Someone's asking about a new section of cars in the dealership here. I'm going to run in there really quick and see if I see anything that looks out of the ordinary or super interesting. So let me go check on that really quick. Bunch of new cars. Oh, there's some sort of thing with like a present and a money sign next to it.
Isn't that new thing they introduced? It's like some kind of a crate that has a mystery car in it.
I don't know. These all seem to say coming soon right now. So I'm not sure what this is for. These are some really high-end cars in here, except for this Lb i8 that I see. That's not a very good one at all.
I think that's been around.
But most of these are pretty nice. Pretty nice cars, pretty hard to get. I really don't know what these are for, honestly. It looks like this might be some sort of upcoming holiday thing, or maybe some sort of event that's coming up. I don't know. I know.
Are they all elite cars or no?
No, they're not actually.
No, they're not. Let me jump in there, and this way we can look at it together with the viewers.
I mean, if you want, I can just switch over to my screen really quick.
Yeah. Switch over to your side.
All right, so we're looking at some of these cars right here. You guys should be able to see my screen right now, I do believe. It'll probably take just a second because we got a little bit of a delay, but all right, so we got a really nice cars in here. But let me pop out of this again really quick so you can see the little like gift thing here. I'm not really sure what this gift is, but see that it shows a gift with a money sign in front of it right here. And if you click on this, there's a whole bunch of really nice cars in here. Oh, you know what? Black Friday. Black Friday.
It's even got the black bow tie.
I bet you got that right. I bet you got that right. Because, yeah, these aren't new cars, by the way. These have been in the game for a really long time. So I'm not sure why they say coming soon, but they're going to be used for something soon. But I think Max probably hit it on the head right there.
I think someone else mentioned it first. Kareem mentioned it first.
Okay.
I saw his comment. That's why I mentioned it.
But yeah, they all say coming soon.
Yeah, so I think that might be Black Friday sale.
I bet it is. Now this is a really weird looking car. I like this thing. I like this thing. But yeah, for example, look at this Lb i8. Alright, you'd see these 5 purple stars, you'd see a tier 4 car, you'd probably think, oh man, this thing is awesome. But the sad part is, even though this is an LB car, generally the LB stuff is really, really nice. This is not one of the better Tier 4 cars in the game, from what I remember. I did not like it very much at all.
Unfortunately, they never made any of the i8s really good.
No.
Yeah.
BMWs aren't the best, honestly, in this game. There's a couple good ones, but...
The MA competition's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good.
They did add a few new ones that are really nice. I removed that comment. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at the list of cars here, right? If you guys are going to buy one car for live racing, for example, out of this Black Friday special, most guys will say, okay, go for the fastest car on the list there. Which, incidentally, I think this. Are you looking at the McLaren P1 GTR?
No, but let me try to find it really quickly. Here we go. There's two of them. There's well, I was, and then I changed it. Now I'm back to the P1. All right, so there's two of them. There's a yellow one, and there is a black one. All right, there's
the black one was the top 10 car, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. One has purple stars,
first came out.
And one has yellow.
Yep. I mean, those are the faster ones in the game, but the issue is the P1 GTR, for example, is not actually that great in live racing unless you can tune it with less upgrades. So it's not my choice. For example, if I only have one car to buy, I wouldn't just buy the P1. On the other hand, what I do know is that Lb Aventador you were looking at earlier, that is a great live racing car.
I agree. That I love. Well, the Lb Aventadors are amazing. I have one. I love that thing.
It's a great car, and the LB limited edition Aventador Coupe right next to it was I believe, an Evo Cup event car that you can win, and that car basically is the LB Aventador but slightly better. So it's the same car. Now, if you don't mind gray, which I do mind. That's a better looking LB in some ways too, because it's got the cool carbon hood and all that stuff.
I think this one looks amazing. Like I'm on that one right now so they can see it. I love this. I mean, that is super, super cool. Like, my personal Aventador is the best looking Aventador I've ever seen, but this thing actually is a little bit better.
It's really cool. I just wish it wasn't kind of a grayish silver. That's not my color.
I kind of like it on this one though.
No, it's not bad. It has the contrast. Yeah. Still a nice looking car. Nice, very nice looking car.
And if you guys do go to buy cars and you see where it says color and wheels and stuff, usually you can pick exactly what colors you want before you buy it, so you can customize your colors. I know a lot of people who have bought cars not realizing they could choose the colors on certain ones and just bought the first one that popped up and got something they didn't actually like. And I mean, that's a bummer, because I mean, you can do some really cool combinations on some of these when you're buying them with your gold or your real money or whatever it is you're using to pay for them with. I don't know how they're going to be selling these cars. I don't know if these are going to be, purchased with gold, or if you're going to have to spend real cash or what. I have no idea how that's going to work, but if you do buy one that's customizable, make sure you customize it first.
I mean, following recent trends, I would think that the yellow star cars may be for gold, and more the old flash cars and purple stars probably will be for real cash. Cheaper, but still real cash.
Now, personally, I would go with the yellow star cars before I would go with anything purple, because there's a lot of things they don't allow the purple star cars into.
Yep. That's true.
Mine looks a lot like this, except for mine's a different shade of like metal color. Mine actually looks cooler than this one. But the color I picked for mine is not available in here. It's very similar to this, but a little bit different. Mine's a little more shiny. Yeah, like these...
I mean, these cars. I mean, this car just, and we play this game because we like looking at these cars. This Lb Aventador is just an awesome looking car. I really love the way it looks.
Definitely. It's a nice dyno beater. It's a nice live racer. It's good and fast. And the nice thing about Ferraris is you can always buy these F12s and strip them to get more parts. So that's always a huge plus. Here, I'll show you guys my Lb Aventador now, so you can see exactly how cool it is. I gotta show this. I was in love with this thing when I got it. I don't know why, but it's just like the one I had on there, except for more shiny.
Oh yeah, that's real metallic. Yeah, that's almost a little mirror-like, you know, chrome.
When I bought mine, I believe there was 3 different mirror finishes available. I almost didn't get the mirror finish, but I'm sure glad I did because that looks amazing.
That does look amazing, and I'm actually kind of jealous now.
Now, one thing you'll notice, you'll see I have fusion parts which I can install into this car, but you don't always need to have every single car maxed out. Like, especially if it's your live racing car, once you get it to a point where it really performs well, you can just kind of leave it there and you don't need to upgrade it anymore. Because I look at it this way: what if I dump all these fusion parts into this and next season's Prestige Cup or some sort of event pops up where I need to use a Lamborghini, and all of a sudden, like, oh well crap, I just dumped all of my parts into a car that I didn't even need to dump them into, and now I don't have any parts to finish this event. So usually once I get a car running really nice, I stop upgrading it and just leave it as is, unless I need to upgrade it more for something down the road.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is another common mistake with a lot of people chasing maxed out cars, is that if you don't have the fusions but you have the stages, and you put the stages on, you might be hurting your car's performance in the grand scheme of it. Anytime performance point jumps up but the Evo point does not, you're hurting your matchmaking in live racing. So I rather maximize fusions on the stages I have fusions on, and don't even install the other stages and keep the performance point lower so I can have better matchmaking in live. And that's just something that we found from playing. This is not a rule. I'm not saying this is how it works, but this is observational experience. I've been live racing long enough to know lower performance point, higher Evo cars always seems to matchmake better. Yeah. And Danny, can you click on the inventory to tell me what color that is? I mean, that is amazing.
Hold on a second. I just went to
now
something
I'm kicking
else
myself for not buying it.
I'll tell you in just a minute. Like Max is saying about the low PP, like this car right here, this guy is a dyno killer, and I can set this to stage 3. I can set this, as you can see, this is only on stage 4 right now. Alright, stage 4 is what I have fitted on this car. It's got over 1,000 Evo, and I can destroy people in live racing with this car, and it doesn't even beat its dyno time. So it's a lot of these cars, but not all of these cars, alright, a lot of the newer cars, you can be on stage 3 or stage 4 and still have over 1,000 Evo, not beat your dyno, but still stomp everybody on live. Now, not every car is like that, but a lot of the ones that are coming out recently are.
Absolutely. But you know what? Weren't we talking about this earlier with the 570S? Even that car, back in 4 years ago, had that particular combination of low upgrades, high Evo.
Yeah.
So it was actually a good car back then. Nowadays, it's just the newer cars are better.
My Juke is the same way. I can set the Juke to like stage 3 or stage 4. I hate the way that little thing looks, but you know what? It's an amazing car, so I use it all the time for a lot of my live streams. But yeah, that color was called Mercury, Max. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful color.
Yeah, it was called Mercury. That car is.
Was this the one that? Was this the first time they offered it for sale for gold that you bought this?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I remember that's the time when Mills had his own color. Mills CSR2 had his own color of Lb Aventador when it came out that time.
Oh, really?
It was a dark shade of red. I remember him talking to me about it too.
Huh.
He loved it. I mean, it was his choice. He likes red, you know, in case I used to watch his videos and he always liked red. But they made CSR2 Natural Motion because of, you know, his collaboration a little bit with them. I think they gave him a car with that color that's like his color.
Oh,
someday
that's cool.
Maybe you'll get one in your color. Maybe pick that Mercury, call it Mercury Lightning.
I don't know about that. But this...
Hey, we'll get there, right? I mean, you know, you're doing great stuff here. I think Natural Motion should definitely recognize you for it.
That would be cool. Maybe someday they will. I probably complain a little too much though. But like this Bugatti Cento Daihatsu, if you can see right here, I just set this down to stage 4, and we're still at plus 1,192 on the Evo. So this is one of those cars that you can actually just tune down. Now this one's a little different. This one still destroys its dyno time, even on stage 4. But let's try this down to stage 3. Let's see what happens at stage 3 with this car. But you don't always need a car to be fully maxed out to have something that's awesome on live racing. I mean, look at this. We're going down to stage 3, and right now we're still at 1,600.
Don't touch the trans. You can't tune. Don't touch the trans.
Oh yeah.
Oh, put it back.
Uh-oh. Now I messed my tune up. But that doesn't.
If you put it back to 4, I think they saved it, so you might be all right.
But anyways,
yeah, 7WG has its own color on the LBNSX, and I don't like
cool.
it. It's kind of a weird lime green.
But yeah, not all cars need to be highly upgraded, guys. Not all cars need to be highly upgraded. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the chat here. I've been blabbing your ear off for a minute, and we should probably look to see if there's any more questions.
And again, this is what we were talking about a lot with, don't chase maxed cars. You don't need to. This game doesn't require you to. And this is the other reason why I see a lot of newer players being afraid to go into a milestone crew, because, oh, I'm afraid to go into a milestone crew. I don't have maxed cars. You don't need them. You can use a stage 4 or 5 car that has high evo, or even not high evo, but you can still go into live. As long as you can win some, you'll do all right. And most crews will teach you how to build better cars, how to get fusions. You'll be all right.
Blup, 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 blup in my ear. We got Danish over here talking about my other channel. But this Porsche Boxster here, guys, this was my go-to live racing car probably for the first like 8 or 9 months I played this game. I would get over 1 million respect points every season live racing this guy. Alright, even on stage 5, I think I had it on stage 5. I was lucky enough to have a bunch of Porsche Fusion parts laying around. So I dumped all my Porsche Fusions into this thing, and I'll tell you what, I raced the crap out of it. It's got 380 miles on it. I don't know if that's a lot or not, but I just remember racing this thing like crazy for quite a while until I finally got my Ferrari F40, and then I switched over to the F40 as my main live racing car because it earned a few more respect points. But I'll tell you what, I mean, even a car like some of these little tier 2 cars.
You have 380 miles on that, running quarter-mile runs. You got to multiply that by 4. That's how many races you've done in it.
I can't do the math.
That's like 1,500 plus races.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, look at this little guy. This is a tier 2 car that has 3 stars. It's got over 1,000 Evo points. I mean, this is going to be an amazing little live racing car right here. This is going to earn some great respect points when you win a live race. So you don't necessarily need the best cars in the game. I mean, here's another awesome tier 2 car. I mean, you can get away with some tier 2 and tier 3 cars if you got the right ones. But a lot of people seem to think you need to be in like the fastest lobby possible to win the most, to get the most respect points, and that's just not true.
It's not true. And also for newer guys, one of the things you got to get into right away is live racing. Why? Because keys. Those live races give you the silver keys and bronze keys. The quicker you start gathering silver keys, the quicker you can get to 750 of them, and therefore start to collect PC cards. And once you start that process and you get used to it, you'll be able to go into a milestone crew and make, 600, 700,000 RP per season. For players that have been playing for a long time, we can barely play and get that. I mean, that's really how easy that is in comparison to when you first start, 100 RP at a time. Of course, when you see 600,000, it scares you. But the truth is, once you get rolling a little bit, it's not that hard to make those RP.
Yeah, that's really easy, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and T2, T3 cars with over 1,000 Evo points make very good RP in live. Do you have a favorite, Denny? You want to take it out to live just to kind of see what points you actually win?
As far as one of the lower end ones, or?
Yeah, one of the lower end cars.
Well, you know what? Let's try Finn's Exige 360 because I actually remember how to drive this one. Let's go see if we can get a couple live races in. Hopefully this isn't in a lobby where most of you guys realize if you win too many live races, your car will be pushed into faster and faster lobbies and you can't win anymore. But we're going to give this a go. Hopefully this one hasn't been pushed. It's been quite a while since I've driven this thing, but let's see if we can find somebody and figure out exactly how many points this wins once you win a live race with it. Now this one does have purple stars, so this will get about 3% more than a car with the golden stars. Alright, so purple stars always earn just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and try and race this Porsche Boxster here. That is one I may be able to beat. Oh yeah, the RS6, Sammy Cole. The RS6 is crazy. That is a crazy car right there. That thing is brutal. Great live racing car. You are totally right. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Are we gonna do it? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Go, 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 go. He got me. All right.
It's tough to beat those Boxsters.
That is true. The Boxsters are great little live racing cars. So is this one. But we ran a very similar time. So let's go back out to the lobby and try this again.
You notice there are a lot of 250 GTOs in there.
Yeah.
That actually is a good T2 car, and it actually runs very well in live as well.
I'm going to try and see if I can find a tier 3 car to race, because those are actually easier to beat. Let's see. Where's a good tier 3 car? Where's a good... There we go. Let's try and race this guy in the... Ooh, that's a really nice color on that one. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. But I'm pretty sure we're going to win this race, so you guys should get to see how many respect points a little tier 2 car can bring in if you got a nice one. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. This is such a great little car. Alright. And we got it. We got it. I think this car has been pushed, but... There we hit 1,200 respect points for that win, guys, off of a little tier 2 car. Alright, that's why I always tell everybody, if you have over 1,000 Evo points on a car, I don't care what tier it is, it's going to rack up the points really, really well. And like I said, it's got 3 purple stars, so it does get an additional probably 3% for the stars there.
Yep. And also in the times when the lobby's not so busy, this little car, this Fence Exige Fully Max, if you run bots, it makes the highest bot RP out of any car in the game.
I did not know that.
Yeah, this used to be the bot hunter for a lot of players. Nowadays I noticed I don't find bots as easily, but there was a time when I got my update early and I got kicked into nothing but bot lobbies. So I literally ran this little car for the season because it helped me make a lot of points that way.
You know what? I'm going to check the miles on a couple of my most driven cars. Let's check the Sesto Elemento. I drove this thing for I don't even know how long. This will be interesting.
Yes, Dinesh, bots. So when you're in a live lobby where there's less than 4 live players...
Holy crap. Sorry, Max. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm trying to answer his question.
I got you.
Bot. Yeah. So Fence Exige is good at finding, at least for a while, it was good at finding bots. And when you race them, you can get enough RP from a bot that, you know, I was getting about 800 per race. Okay. And I think with 150 card or 70 cards, it was well over 1,000. It was like 1,800 a race with 150 card. So it's very impressive for a bot. Normally, when you race a T5 against a bot, you get like 300 RP or something. So it's very very little.
Yeah.
But this car is one of the few that really got high RP from bots. I don't know if Natural Motion ever fixed it or anything. I don't hear about it as much nowadays, but I have good memories of it. So
I have noticed a lot of cars seem to be making a little more RP when you race the bots these days, so I think they might have actually upped it again, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Which
check
is good.
the F40. Yeah, I'm actually glad they did that, but it still doesn't make as much as a real person. Let's see, the F40 has 1,200 miles on it. We'll have to look at a few of Max's cars that he drives the most as well.
We'll have to jump on my main account for that. I mean,
oh, okay, I forgot.
Yeah, that's the video account. That's the one that I just used to showcase stuff. I never race on it much.
Here's another one I've driven the crap out of, is the Mustang HPE 750. Actually, I think this was my first. This was my first Tier 4 car that did good at live racing. That one's got 2,600 miles on it.
That's a natural dyno beating car. That was
Yes.
a good live racer.
This car is great. This car will beat almost, if you tune this right and you're on a fresh tune where it hasn't been pushed, this car will beat everything in the game.
I remember when that car came out. This is incidentally also one of the cars, fully maxed, that can beat the entire Tempest 3 Tier 4 without swapping.
Yes,
without changing cars.
That is
Yeah, but it's
very,
hard to
very
get
true.
parts for the Stage 6s.
Let's see, what else have I driven a lot? This is kind of fun here, actually.
Mr. Grasshopper, the 300 SL unfortunately isn't that great for live racing. So no, I wouldn't recommend it. You're much better off using the 250 GTO.
Yeah, unfortunately, the little 300's not the greatest. 500 miles on that one. I'm surprised it's not more. Alright, let's check through the chat and see what we have here.
All right. So I think it's a good time, since we're about an hour into this, to take some questions. I mean, I've seen questions pop up, but there's so much chat going on, it's hard to keep track. But if you guys want to ask some direct questions, I think now's a good time for the two of us to try to answer some.
Dennis, yeah, the bots are cool if you see them. I see you said you're going to start racing bots from now on, but I'd much rather race real people. The bots aren't always there. Now, if you can catch a bot lobby, sure, go for it. Sometimes if you tune a car really, really weird, you can end up in a bot lobby or something, but...
Yeah, the bot lobby is really great for just getting your keys real fast when you're in a hurry. But the reality is, you know, it's hard to find full bot lobbies. Bot lobbies are usually between two time brackets. So it's weird tunes, like Danny was saying. Weird tunes may find it, but it's not always consistent.
Now, the best time to find bots is directly after an update. Like, if you're one of the first people to get the update, you'll find nothing but bots.
Yeah, you'll be stuck with them.
Max, did you play Respawnables before? EKT?
No, I never played that. No.
I think I've played it a couple times, but I don't remember. Most of those shooter type games I get kind of bored with, like the first person shooters.
Well, I'm not bored of them, I just suck at them, so that's why I don't play them.
Yeah, the shooters on the phone can be pretty hard sometimes. Alright, I just scrolled way through the questions and didn't see any questions I needed to answer. I might have missed some of them.
All right, we got some ones on the later chat here. So somebody was asking if the Lb M3 GTS is good in live. Yes and no, because the M3 GTS beats dyno by 2/10. However, the problem is most T3 cars beats dyno by 2/10. So you're still not really at an advantage. It is not bad, but it's not really that great in live. Let's see what else we got here.
Somebody wants to know what the fastest car in the game is right now. And,
Jesco Absolute.
Who makes that? I'm trying to pull that up.
Koenigsegg.
Oh yeah, that's
Koenigsegg.
right. How did I forget that? I'm trying to pull that up on the screen real fast.
You'll be under K, I think. Let's go backwards towards K.
There we go.
No, that's SG's.
Wait. The only thing that's showing up is the what? It's not even
right
in
there,
here.
right there. Yep, there it is.
It's not even in here.
Oh, that's weird.
That is really strange. But yeah, the Jesco Absolute, it's running what, 6.812 or something like that?
Yeah, something. But good luck getting that. You know, like I said, I don't have the magic fingers to pull that off.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to get 6.85 out of that car.
I actually, I haven't tried to do it since someone actually figured out a better shift pattern for it than I did. I haven't messed with it since. I do have another account that's got a bunch of maxed out cars and stuff on it, but...
Actually, if you want to jump back to my account, I can show these guys the Jesco Absolute.
No way,
I think I
dude.
have it on this video account. Let me see. Let me scroll over to...
Only my account. There can only be one. Do you know what I'm talking about there? Alright, we're back to Max's garage now. He'll show you this crazy thing. He'll show you this crazy thing.
It's on the other end. I know it's here. So.
It's lost in the 1,000 garages there.
All right. Are we? Is everybody seeing the Jesco here?
No, but I see it.
Should be coming up. All right. This is the car we're talking about. So this is
6.812.
Yep. Now, obviously, that's fully maxed. But this car actually, I recently did a video on live racing the Koenigseggs from the Supercar Science event. Most of these cars, again, has super high Evo at lower performance points, and they make great lower speed lobby live racers. So I really enjoy my Koenigseggs that I have, and I use them in various lobbies.
Holy moly. Alright, I just got a question about how many races have I won? 41,922 out of, then it shows a slash mark, and then it says 60,178. So that's, I can't remember how that works. Is that wins and losses?
Yeah, it's wins and losses. I mean, don't forget, it counts your wins on the map. It counts your losses on the map, too.
Okay.
So that's kind of like an overall statistic.
So that's a total of over 60,000 races I've done in the entire time I've done this. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Time spent playing, 1,620 hours and 41 minutes. Oh
Just
my
a little
God.
time. Just a little bit.
I don't even want to know what that adds up to in like days or weeks or months or years. Do not want to know. Please don't tell me, okay?
Yeah, well, you know, you're talking what, 2 hours a day, 4 years, so it adds up quick.
Dennis, if you're asking if I've paid money, not very much. I've spent maybe 30 or 40 bucks on this game in total. What about you, Max? Have you spent very much on this one?
I could buy a used car.
So Max could buy a car.
quite a bit.
Me, I just don't make enough money to buy cars and upgrade them on this one, so I haven't spent much.
And you know what happened is, when you first start this game, you get so excited, and you know, $50 a month buying Google Play cards just doesn't seem like much. And the next thing you know, you're doing $50 a week. Then you go, what the hell? I'll stop drinking coffee and I'll do $100 a week. You know, that's how you sink in so much money so fast. It happens. And you know, and eventually you learn and you go, oh, wait a minute, I really don't have to spend that to enjoy the game. So, you know, I pulled them back a lot in the last year and a half. But that first year is when you spend all your money because you're chasing. You know, you're trying to build cars, and it's just like, oh, I could just eat oatmeal for the year and have a really cool garage in CSR2. So it happens.
See, Gabby says is the Venom F5 Fast. Yeah, it's actually a pretty darn nice car overall. I really like that one. It's pretty good at live racing, isn't it, Max?
Venom F5 is quite good, actually. Now, it's a fast car. Not only is it a fast car, it's a low performance point, high Evo car. The only thing is it doesn't beat dyno once you upgrade beyond a certain point. Just like the Jesco Absolute's the same way, but it is a fast car.
Let's see. CSR2 Racing says, how long have you been streaming this game? Well, I don't know. I started streaming maybe a year ago, but I've probably been doing videos for this game for somewhere in the 2 to 3 year range, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I started making YouTube videos probably 2 years ago. I would say 2 years ago now. Maybe a little longer.
If I remember correctly, Max was making videos before I was. I'm not sure, though.
I can't recall
I remember
exactly.
seeing his videos about... I think it was him. I could be very confused, but...
Yeah, it's been a while. We've both been doing this for a while. You know, obviously you have been more active with the live streaming. I don't tend to, and I'm kind of glad that we kind of hooked up, because from a technical side, I much rather you manage the stream like this than for me to set it up.
Yeah. Aclavia, is the Viper ACR Extreme Aero any good? It's okay. I guess it's a really nice live racing car from what people have been telling me, but I don't have any actual experience with that one myself.
I have some experience, and let me tell you about this car. Back in the day when I was just a young player, not knowing anything, I've lost lots of money to this car. So the thing about the ACR Extreme Aero is that it is a Dodge Viper, and Dodge Vipers in this game, for some reason, all can bust dyno by ridiculous amounts, and this car is no different. The only reason you don't see this car much anymore is because everybody's killed it, because they were so busy trying to get money from other players, they ended up killing the car. And for your entertainment, I actually decided to bring this car out.
All right.
Yeah.
Someone's asking what our favorite cars are. Man, I'll tell you what, there's too many awesome cars in this game to really have a lot of favorites, but I love the Sesto Elemento, I love the F40, I love the Mustang HPE 750, and a whole bunch of other ones too. All right. So
all right. So,
oh,
yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yep. Oh. Go ahead.
All right. The Extreme Aero. So here you go. This is the Extreme Aero with its current tune, 10.066. This is what it can run. 9.4. Okay, so in that lobby, a 10.0 lobby, you can meet NSXRs that'll run 9.7s in there. And they're highly confident players because they know they generally win everything in there with their 9.7 car. But then you get this guy come along, and if I throw up a $200,000 bet and you jump at it, there's a good chance you'll lose it. Now, can this get more extreme? Yeah. I mean, I can actually lower this car to like a 2.0 final drive, sacrifice a lot more of that Evo, and do something like a 1 second plus under easily. So if I do something like this, it's now a 12-second car, and I could probably run 10s or 11s in it. So, you know, this is why you don't see this car much anymore. Everybody killed it, because they would run it with that kind of dyno busting, and then they won't slow down. Let me show you something else. Also, this is one of the reasons I don't like this car, and this is why, is that with that level of upgrade, with just that little bit of Evo, it's kind of a not worth it in live almost. You definitely want a car that's at least over 1,000 Evo when you go into live racing. Have you ever lost money to an ACR, Denny?
I don't, you know what? I hardly ever see the ACRs. Now, back when I first started playing, I did see them a lot, and I knew a few guys in my crew, but I don't really remember racing any, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, they were popular for that first 4 or 5 months when this car came out. And then I just watched people slowly but surely moving into faster and faster lobbies, and then eventually they all disappeared. So, and that's why the people stopped using them, because they burned it out, and it's a pain to reset it once you push it that many lobbies faster than where it should be. Oh, look, I'm in the here's a bot lobby. If you right there, see that?
Bots everywhere.
Bots everywhere.
You'll get to know the bots' faces, guys. You'll see the same photos with a bunch of different names. So if you're not familiar with bots, eventually it'll be like bot, bot, bot. You'll be able to pick them out left and right, but it takes a little while.
Guys, so here we have an actual lobby.
My crew is currently full, guys, but if we ever need new players, I usually post it on my monthly recruitment video, and I'll let you all know that my crew needs people.
Now, if you notice something about this lobby I'm in now, what's one of the popular cars? The NSXR everywhere. Right? That's because they're really dominant in this lobby. I mean,
those things are good.
This car, yeah, it's a good car. It really is a good car.
Huge dyno busting, great live racer. Everybody loves those things. But me, I hate Legends cars. I just don't mess with Legends cars anymore. They keep changing the way they drive, and they just keep messing with them. I'm just like, you know what? No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, people hate racing those NSXR. I see the comment from Savage. The reason being is because they beat you, right? Because they come on hard at the end. So you think you got this, and it blows your doors off right before the end. So that's the thing about that car, and people hate that. They don't like to lose at the end when they think they're winning.
Yeah. Same thing the F40 does to you.
Yep, F40, yep.
Eclavia, we don't know why the F12 is currently broken, but it's a dyno buster that won't generally win live races unless you down tune it, which is rather unfortunate, but...
Alright, well, I think people are on to this car in this lobby at least. Nobody even wants to race.
That's true.
Or they're watching the live stream goes, oh, no. I don't want to be the victim here.
Yeah, it's a bunch of you guys at home are like, oh, Max says this one's good. I'm not going to race. I'm not going to be on their live stream getting beat.
All right, well, I mean, so again, the Viper ACR is not bad. And you don't, the problem is if you don't run it with the down tune, it's not that competitive. So this is why you don't see it a lot in live. But this car actually isn't bad. It just, I don't know, it's mediocre to me. But expending a lot of resources to get Dodge Fusions into it, just to have it be kind of mediocre, isn't what I want, right? So I only select cars that I think are really worth putting money into.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Mr. Grasshopper, yeah, the NSXR is a great car for Tempest 3 Tier 4. Pretty sure you can beat the whole thing without changing parts, without changing cars, as long as you have enough parts into it. But like,
I think when they buffed the NSXR, they made it not run as good for sprints.
Oh, they changed it?
So you may have a problem. Yeah, okay. They changed it.
Well, maybe what I said is wrong then. I didn't realize that, but...
I might even have one in here we can look at real quick.
It used to tear through Tempest 3 Tier 4 like it was nothing.
Oh, absolutely. It used to just destroy it. Here we go.
But like Max was saying a second ago, be very careful which cars you put your money into. Pick and choose, because you can't afford to upgrade every single car you get. Make sure you're upgrading cars that you actually need for something, or cars that are really, really good for live racing only, because it sucks to dump like 6 million game cash into a car just to be like, oh man, that car was a turd. So be real careful with that, guys.
Yep, and that's where we are here to try to help you. I mean, really, on my channel, if a player asks me, is this a good car? If I have it and I've driven it or I've upgraded, I'll give you the answer, as best as I can. We don't know about every car. Neither Danny or I have access to every car, but generally over time, we sort of got a feel for what's good and what's pretty bad in the game. So, okay, so I'm here with the NSXR because I want to show you guys the problem it's having with sprinting. Okay, this is the typical sprint setup for this car, 2.875. Now, the reason is I can't make this gear go any closer to 60.
Man, that is kind of slow. That is pretty slow for a tier 4 car.
Yeah, so what they did is they made, look at this ridiculous top speed here, right? 500 miles an hour. It's not like, what do you think this car's going to hit 500 miles an hour?
You never know.
You never know. But what they did is by moving this bar here, the way they reprogrammed the car to make it faster, they made it impossible for it to do as good a sprint. That's the issue. So that's why I'm saying, look at the mile per hour though. You'll have no problem hitting that 260, right? But the the 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 suffering. So that's the problem with the NSXR. They did the same thing with the Countach, which used to beat Tempest 3 Tier 4 as well.
See,
They buffed the car, and it hurt it.
I don't keep up with the Tempest cars anymore because they've changed them several times, and then you got to keep relearning how to drive them and relearning what they do. It's just a pain to me, so I stopped messing with them mainly for that reason. I did restore all of them, but I just don't like the Tempest cars in general. To me, the whole thing was just a pain. Even though
someone's asking, I'm sorry, Danny, go ahead.
Even though some of those Tempest cars are great live racing cars, I still just don't like the things.
Yeah. I mean, the NSXRs, someone's asking what is the best Stage 6 parts for it. You know, I make these videos and then I forget because I start making the next video. So I would have to retest it to tell you, but I remember it was either, it's definitely one of these here. I think it might be body or engine that actually was pretty strong on this car. But I may have a Stage 6 video for this car. You can look it up on my channel. It'll help answer that question.
The SRT wide body. I know that SRT car that they gave us for free, the Tier 4 one, that thing will blow Tempest 3 Tier 4 away easy.
Are they talking about the Charger Hellcat? Not the Challenger, but the Charger, right?
I don't know. Someone just says the SRT wide body. Barton, which car exactly are you talking about? Because if it's the car I'm thinking of, then yes. But it could be a different car than what we're... I know there was, what was it, a Charger or a Challenger that they gave us for free recently? And it
Charger.
Charger, yeah. That thing was amazing car. Amazing Tier 4 car for everything.
I got a video on that one. At the time, it only required 2 Stage 6s to beat Tempest 3 Tier 4. But once they made that sprint tougher recently, you actually need tire Stage 6 as well. So it becomes 3 Stage 6s plus full fusion. It'll make it through the entire Tempest 3 Tier 4.
And that's not bad because a lot of the cars need way more Stage 6 parts than that to make it through. Most cars need to be pretty close to maxed out, honestly.
Yeah, most of them are. I mean, this is why I always push the M5 competition, the in-attack GTR. Those things only need 2 on each to beat Tempest 3 Tier 4. And then the rest of these, there are a lot of good ones. And guess what? Next season's PC car, the Griffins, if you can get it built enough, that could beat Tempest 3 Tier 4 as well. Pretty easily, actually. That's a good car.
Mr. Grasshopper, what car should I use for Tempest 3 Tier 4 sprints? Well, there's quite a few cars that can do the sprints. The thing is, the problem with Tempest 3 Tier 4 is some cars have a great acceleration and some have a great top speed, but not all cars have both. Basically, you would just want to check most of your cars and you should be able to figure out easily whether or not one of your cars can currently make the speed you need for that race. But the majority of the Tier 4 cars have a pretty good sprint time, I think. But not all of them have both. I mean, I don't really know what cars you have, so it's not one of those questions I can just say, hey, you have this car, use it, because I have no idea what's in your inventory. And most of the really good cars aren't that easy to get, so I don't really have enough information to completely answer your question there.
So for a lot of you guys, one of the alternative options to beat Tempest 3 Tier 4, if you're really pushing that far already, is to prepare 2 cars. One for the speed traps, and then one for the sprint. Because, so what it turns out to be is a lot of the cars that can do the speed traps can actually get 3/4, if not all the way near the end of the event. And it's that last 1 or 2 sprints that gets it stuck. So you just need like a sprint car on the side and a little bit of gold saved, so you can still get through the event that way.
Savage 121. Unfortunately, KJ's GTR is not a very good car for Tempest 3 Tier 4. I know it looks a lot like the attack package version of the GTR, which is great. But unfortunately, it's a very different car, and it's not something I would choose to try and take on Tempest 3 Tier 4 with. It's just kind of a very so-so car.
it's actually pretty bad for what it is.
Yeah, it's one of the It's actually one of the slowest tier 4 cars in the game. Honestly, it's down at the very bottom of the list.
Why are Denny and Max in different crews?
I'm just reading that one too. Because we hate each other and we fight all the time. We are rivals. You know, my crew versus his crew. It's ride or die over here. What am I talking about? I don't really know, but
no, we met on YouTube because we both do YouTube videos, and I like watching Denny's live streams, and we kind of decided to try doing a collaborative stream. This is how we ended up here.
Yeah, Max has been showing up. Me and Max recently just started talking. I mean, he's been showing up to my streams for a while, which has been really cool. You know, he's been helping me answer questions I can't answer because he's great with tuning. If I forget what a car can do, Max always chimes in. And someone said something about, hey, you guys should collab. And we both went, hey, that's a great idea. And then we did it. So.
Yeah. Is the Harkness car good? Yes, it is.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good car. Actually, you know, while we're on the topic, why don't we talk about what are the good boss cars? Because that's one of the biggest confusions, right? You go through all these boss cars, and most of them are not very good.
Yep.
So what do you think to be some of the good boss cars, Danny?
Well, this will be fun because, you know what? I have a whole video on this, and every once in a while somebody disagrees with one of the boss cars that I said was bad. So me and Max, we're going to try and go through all the boss cars here. And we'll each one of us will tell you whether or not we like it. All right, let me go over to the dealership and click on the little Tempest thing just so I can make sure we get all the boss cars popped up so we don't forget any. But yeah, let's start off with the Harkness Sesto Elemento. Probably the best boss car and one of the best darn cars in the game, in my opinion. It may not be one of the fastest, but darn, it's amazing. Natural dyno breeder.
For a free car, it's quite excellent.
So yeah, we love the Sesto Elemento. 2 thumbs up on that one.
Absolutely.
Right. Next, we have the Ferrari F50. Nothing special, but pretty darn good.
It's good. It's just a little hard to make it excellent. That's the issue with it. I want it to be better.
I give it about a 7 out of 10, right?
Yep. 6, 7 out of 10 is about right. Now, the problem with the F50, again, is it doesn't beat dyno by much. So it's a little hard to use it in live. But it's such a pretty car.
It is, it is. I know some people that live race it all the time and have good luck with it. Other people don't. But generally, if you get it just right, it can be a very, very good live racer.
Yep.
All right, so next we have, what is it, Amelia's Lb M4 Coupe.
Yes,
very
excellent
cool.
Tier 3.
Very cool little car. If I remember correctly, it was great at live. I haven't live raced it in ages, but when I first got it, I remember it doing very well for live. It's good for Tempest. Tempest 3, once you win it, you can use it to beat Tempest 3. Great little car overall. So we both agree on this one being a super nice little car.
Oh, Denny, did you switch back over to your screen? Because I think it's still on mine.
You know what? I did not. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and switch.
Let's do that.
All right, let's turn Max's terrible garage off and turn on my awesome garage. All right, so these are the non-boss versions of the boss cars that we're actually looking at. There is a boss version and a non-boss version, but we're talking about the boss version of these cars, okay? So, the little boss version of the Civic 1.5 VTEC, it'll have 2 purple stars. And I'll tell you what, great little car for everything as far as Tier 1 goes. You still here, Max?
I'm here, I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
So what's your opinion on the 1.5 VTEC?
I love it. It's a great little car. In T1, it's one of the cars I like to use for a lot of the map stuff because, you know, it's very easy to beat all kind of map stuff with it.
Yeah, it does very well for live. It beats dyno. It's just a nice little car all the way around. very fast. All right, next we have KJ's Nismo. All right, this is the non-boss version you're seeing on the screen, but KJ's Nissan GTR Nismo, not great, guys. Not great. I give that about a 3 out of a 10.
I give it a 1 out of 10.
I'm being generous, okay?
I'm really not happy with that car.
Don't mess with KJ's Nissan GTR Nismo. Now, my boss cars are spread all over the place, so this is easier than searching through all my garages to find them. All right, so next we have, what is it? Shaina's Range Rover. Is that who it is? Shaina?
Yeah, I think the Shaina's Range Rover.
I give this one I could care less about it. Don't upgrade it.
I strip all the regular versions I get too. I'm like, oh my god, not another one.
Pretty, just a bleh car in general.
Yeah, it's meh. And you know, the T2, it's also slow. It's just not very useful.
Yeah, it's just there, taking up space in the garage. All right, so next we have Larry's Gta Spano. Again, this is the non-boss version, but the boss version has the purple stars and looks a little different. Great for live racing, I guess.
Some people swear by this car.
Very, very good dyno beater that does well for live, but for everything else, not so good. Not so good. Great for a dyno beater, but slow and just kind of in my opinion. I wouldn't put any parts into it.
JC keeps asking us a question. I don't know the answer to it though.
Oh, what is it?
Whether the purple star Griffith can be used in the PC Cup next season.
Generally, usually they do not allow the purple star versions into the Prestige Cups. Unfortunately, there's always somebody who has a purple star version that wants to know why they can't use it, but I don't know why the game doesn't allow the purple star versions, but probably not. There's a very, very slight chance they could let it in, but I would not count on it.
I mean, recently there's been both ways. I mean, some of the recent PC Cups I've heard they did allow purple stars in, so it's kind of, you know, how you can tell is when you look at the leaderboard. If there are some cars that are running about a tenth faster than the world record for the yellow stars, those are usually the purple stars.
All right, next we have Finn's Exige 360 Cup, which is the little tier 2 boss car with purple stars. Looks just like this, only better when you get the boss version. Well, you guys just saw that a little bit ago if you were here. Awesome little tier 2 car. Beats dyno, wins live races. I actually use this for all kinds of little daily stuff all the time. I love this little guy.
Yeah, that's a great little car. Again, it's a nice bot hunter. It's pretty good overall. So a little hard to get fusions for, but you know, over time you can build it.
What's up, Miguel? Miguel is in my crew as well. We got Sin Snips and Miguel here, 2 crew members, both super cool guys. And thanks for showing up to the stream. Everybody else who is here, me and Max really appreciate all of you being here in the stream. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Yep, welcome to the live stream and thank you for joining us.
All right, now we have this Camaro Zl1, which is like a puke green color or a pea green color. I actually know nothing about this car, but I've heard it sucks.
It's not very good, no. But don't confuse this one with the 1LE, which actually is half decent.
Yeah, very different cars.
Very different cars. I always get people looking at this car asking me, is this the 1LE? I go, no, the 1LE looks completely different. It's got the wing, it's got the front, winglets. Don't confuse the two. But no, the ZL1's not good, but the 1LE is decent.
Next, we have Dana's 911 Gt3 Rs. Hers is bright orange and has the 4 purple stars. I give that one a 5 out of 10. It's not a great dyno beater. It's hard to win live races with, but it's decently fast. It's fun to drive. It's easy to drive, but nothing special. That's why I give that one a 5.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I've seen a few in live, and sometimes they run pretty well, but for a boss car, it's about a 5 out of 10. I would agree.
Next, we have the Mark 1 Golf GTI. How do you say that guy's name that owns this car? The boss?
Oh.
Like, I don't know how to pronounce it, honestly. Like,
isn't that the guy? No, I can't pronounce his name either. I'm not even going to try.
I don't know how you say that boss's name, but I was a little bit... This may be a very nice little car. The boss version is black and it's got 2 purple stars, but I was actually very disappointed with it because it runs the almost the exact same as the regular Golf GTI that you can get. It's really not any better than the regular GTI with 1 star. So in my opinion...
Conduit. Everybody's telling us it's Conduit.
Oh yeah, Conduit. You're right. That's not the one. There's another one. No, it's the guy with the Sylvia that's got the
Sylvia guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Conduit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I say it. But yeah, the Conduit's Golf GTI. Perfect. Thank you, whoever said that. I don't see that in the chat, but this is a great little car, but you may be disappointed because it's not any better than the regular Golf.
Yeah, I think the regular GTI actually ends up being better. So
maybe
it
is.
This one's I haven't used it. It just sits in my garage.
All right, so next we have the Sylvia S15, which is not super great in my opinion. Not really something I would dump your resources into. Some people say it's good for live racing, I guess. What's your opinion on this?
And that's exactly what we were trying to get to earlier, that you notice some people swear by certain cars because they happen to find a build that works. So if it works, use it. There's nothing wrong with that.
That is true.
Now, I haven't found any great build for this car, but then I didn't try too hard either. It's just kind of slow and
yeah,
was a disappointment. And guess what? I love this car. I mean, I actually owned a Nissan 240SX at one time, and in Japan it's called the Nissan Silvia. This is the S15. I own what they call the S14 Silvia, or S14 240SX. So I have a soft spot for this car.
Max had to save $20 and he got the 14 instead of the 15. But yeah, these things are pretty darn cool in real life. Now we do have another. We do
popular
have
as drift cars.
Oops. Yeah, they do make cool drift cars. Now we do have a Rocket Bunny version of the Sylvia S15 in this game, and that one's awesome. But that's not a boss car. Very different car.
And that's actually a good car compared to this.
So next we have the Sneaks Ford Focus Trackster. Freaking amazing for a tier 1 car. Amazing. I mean, you just awesome. If you get it, upgrade that thing. Most people will it'll win every freaking live race possible, but most people will refuse to race you because it's so darn good. Unless they just don't know. Unless it's like a noob that has no idea, people aren't going to race you in this thing.
Yeah, this is a good T1, but again, because it's kind of at a weird dyno, it'll beat everybody, but at the same time everybody knows it, so you kind of get a lot of refusals after a few you spend like 10-20 minutes in a lobby, nobody wants to race you anymore.
Now one thing I forgot to mention, alright, we're looking at the non-boss versions right now, and I'll tell you what, sometimes the boss car is better and sometimes the non-boss version is actually better. Now,
yeah,
as far as this one goes, the boss one is way better. If you get the non-boss version of this, it's not that great, but the boss one is killer.
Yeah, this one belongs to Sneak. This one, a lot of people lost the boss car because this is the one you got to race the Miata to get. And we all know how great that Miata is.
Not one of my favorites.
I think you get so traumatized by the time you finish Tempest 3 Tier 1, you don't want to ever see that Miata again.
I found a really awesome guide that told me exactly how to set it up, but the guide has unfortunately disappeared from the internet, and it's like it says website not found anymore, which sucks because I followed that thing and I breezed right through it.
I got a video on that too for the Miata that I've been leaving out there. So, I'm not very good at those tags. So but it had a lot of hits. So I think a lot of people have seen it. But the Miata is tricky. It's definitely tricky. I'm still traumatized by using it.
So the next one was PETA's Lapel Motorsports Camaro, which was that also green?
No, it's like a gray. It's like a lighter blue than this, almost like a gray blue, I think.
Oh yeah, it's a grayish blue. That's right. I'm not familiar with this one, but I've never heard anything great about it.
Well, no, I haven't heard anything great about it either. So
most people have
it's gray. It is gray. They're right. It's like more of a grayish.
Yeah, like a flat gray color.
Yeah.
Most people have always told me, don't dump your stuff into this car. Don't dump any parts into this thing. So I never did. I've heard nothing but bad things about this. It looks cool, but as far as I know, the looks are the only thing this car has going for it.
I would probably have to agree. But it does look great.
We got a Clavy over here spamming the chat with yeah. All right. Please don't spam, guys, but we will allow this because it's funny. All right.
That guy's forever going to be known as a yeah.
So next one is going to be Summers 4C. This is an awesome little Tier 2 car. Summers 4C is great. Do you have any opinions on this one, Max?
I like the regular 4C Spider better.
Really?
Yeah.
This
one's not bad either, but I don't find this one as easy to beat dyno with.
Huh.
And the regular 4C is a dyno beater.
Everybody I know that's upgraded Summers 4C said it was a awesome live racer. I don't actually have any experience with this one myself. I've never upgraded it, but I've heard a lot of people say this thing was awesome. I
have to look at mine again. Yeah, but this is, so speaking of the 4C, right? This is a surprisingly good little T2 car that a lot of people kind of ignore. The regular 4C Spider, the Alpha 4C Spider, I think if you play this game long enough, you're going to get tons of those. Yeah. You should at least save one because it actually is the car I used to beat Tempest 3 Tier 2. The 4C Spider, not this one. But it breezed right through it.
Yeah, they're very cool little cars. And you know what? I think we're back to... I think that we just went through all of the boss cars. It looks like the next car on the list is the Sesto Elemento again, and I'm pretty sure we commented on that, right?
Yes, we did.
Are you positive? Because we might need to talk about this one again. Everybody knows this is one of my favorite cars in the game just because it looks amazing. Not necessarily... I don't really like any of the color schemes as far as the non-boss version, but when you get out to the boss version of the Sesto Elemento, it's beautiful. Now, Max, you probably know this as well, but if you look at the Sesto Elemento, there's this giant red thing hanging off of that thing's rear end.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what that is. Do you know what that is, Max?
I actually don't either. I never looked into that.
Oh man, all my cars are needing refreshed. I don't know what happened here. But a lot of... What the... Oh my god. Max, are you watching this?
What's going on?
I have an empty garage. I've never seen this happen before.
Oh boy.
My entire garage is empty. There's no cars in here. This is... I've actually never seen this glitch. Hold on. Let's go try and... change a few things. Hopefully, I might have to restart the game here, guys.
Yeah, I think while you were distracted in the dealership, they stole all your cars.
These guys come to our stream, okay, and they pretend to be chatting with us when they're in there looting everything. Not cool, guys. Not cool, okay? But anyways, the big red thing, if I didn't mention it, I got a little distracted by the crazy glitch here. And that's the transmission. That's the transmission hanging out of the back of that car. I gotta
cool.
close the game and open it up. I'm gonna switch back to your garage because I don't want something weird to happen in my player ID to
no problem.
pop
no
up
problem.
on the
Let's
screen.
Jump back over here.
Maybe you can show them how beautiful the Sesto Elemento is.
I can show them how disorganized this garage is. Because I just randomly move stuff around when I go through this garage. I don't, I don't really organize it. I should have the Sesto in here somewhere, though. Oh, it's the other way.
So Dennis says that's what happened to him when he lost his account. Oof.
I think it is a connection issue that triggers that. And, one of the things not to do in this game, because this game is very sensitive to your internet connection, don't try to load your garage if you have like less than a 2 bar on your phone or something, or you're on a bad Wi-Fi, because you can actually lose your account that way because it won't sync to the server.
Oh, they brought my cars back, Max. They brought them back.
Oh, all right, excellent.
See, thank you guys. I knew you weren't so terrible.
Yeah, so here's the Sesto to look at in the meantime while you reload your garage.
Yeah, show them the butt.
The trans right there.
Yep, that's the transmission hanging out of the back there. I always thought it was a parachute or something at first, but it is not.
This car is so secretive that I can't open up the back here. Denied, no access.
Yeah, that thing's
a
actually
few cars like that.
That's actually got a solid shell body. That's just like a fiberglass shell. So you can't open the trunk or the hood on that. That's one of those cars in real life, I guess you have to take the whole body off in order to get into the... I mean, basically, this car is made to be as lightweight as possible. It's just stripped down. There's nothing inside of it. It's just a stripped down fiberglass shell with a frame underneath, basically.
No dash either.
Yeah, no dash, no nothing for the most part.
Now, as cool as this is, I would never drive this on the street. I don't think it's even street legal.
I think it is. I think it's supposed to be the fastest street legal car or something. I could be way wrong on this one, but...
I don't see even a license plate on this. Usually street legal cars will have at least a rear plate or something available, but,
Oh, man, you're bursting
That's
my
carbon
bubble
fiber.
over here.
Rail 85 said the body's carbon fiber. Yeah, it's probably carbon fiber. That's the stuff.
I thought it was street legal. Ken says Wong, no license plates. Alright, they're telling me it's not street legal. Come on, guys, you're supposed to agree with me here. Let's see.
That's a pretty extreme car.
Somebody says the world's D7 racing is better. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, Rail says it's carbon and not fiberglass.
Yeah, here's a black Lb Aventador. Again, this is
nice.
a top live racing car in my opinion. It's a very good car.
Not quite as good as the Sesto, but very, very nice. If you guys have a chance to buy one of these with gold, snatch it up because that's an awesome little car. It's really easy to drive. I do have a video on how to drive it. If you guys want to check that out, just so like when it does pop up and probably what we think are going to be the Black Friday deals, you can check it out and get an idea of if you like the way it shifts and all that stuff. It shifts very, very similar to the Sesto Elemento, but slightly different and easier to drive. The Sesto, if you get your start just a little bit wrong, man, your run is ruined. This car is not quite like that. But I remember, I think
the Liberty Walk does also does a late launch kind of thing. Let's demonstrate that because somebody was mentioning about spinning tires in this car, right? So the key is you can't launch anywhere in the green, and you can't launch anywhere earlier than the 6K green here. You got to launch somewhere in 6500 and later to get the run out of this car. So Mainly, it's just waiting it out so you don't launch early. And then you can shift right out of it, no problem. But if you launch right on the green, and I'll do that next, you're gonna get that crazy wheel spin, and you're basically not going anywhere. That's the quirk of this car. Just like the Sesto. The Sesto drives the same exact way.
A lot of Ferraris or a lot of Lamborghinis kind of have the same type of, you gotta do the start on the right hand side of the perfect instead of before it or right on it.
Yeah, it's just almost like they hate perfect launches. They do a needle hang. Here, I'll try to do a perfect launch now. What? All right, I guess that was early enough that it didn't do that, but because I'm so habitually avoiding perfect launch on this car, it's hard for me to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are in that little window where, see, that actually still beat Dyno, but if you are right dead on that green, which you know what, I'll get it this time. I'll get it this time.
Just so you guys know, our 2-hour stream time, we're about to hit that. So
yep.
This will probably be the last thing here. Is our little Max little showcase on this guy.
Too early again. I'm sorry. Just not pulling it off today.
Darn it, Max.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm failing. But actually, then I'm slightly wrong too. If you go slightly early, apparently it's not hanging. So
I don't really remember that car having wheel spin issues, honestly. But then again,
I know it does. But I know it does. All right, so we got 2 minutes.
I've always
let me try this.
Late start, I guess you call that. Early start, late start. Which one is it?
I don't know. Maybe I have this tuned around it for some reason. It's just not doing it.
Could be.
All right. It was fun. It was fun. We tried. But usually, yeah. Usually, if you launch it dead on perfect, you actually hurt this car. A little bit late, a little bit early is usually the best way to go. But late is usually better than early. So 9.3 running 9.1s anytime you want. That's always helpful, especially in live.
So everybody, all right, even if we didn't say hello to you, it is hard to say hello to everybody when we're kind of on our little rants about some of these things. Just so you guys know, we appreciate all of you guys being here. Even if if you showed up early, you stayed for the whole thing, even if you just stayed for a few minutes, you guys are awesome, all right? Make sure you guys, if you guys like this content, make sure you guys check out Max on YouTube. Maybe give him a few subs. He has some very helpful stuff on tuning and helping you guys beat Tempest and stuff like that. Max has a great channel, as do I. So make sure you hit that like button. All right, before you leave, please hit that like button. All right, that always helps us out. Make sure you check out Max. If you want to, I don't know when the bot's going to post your channel again, Max. If you want to give them another link to your channel real quick in the comments, that would be great. That way they can click on that before they go.
Let me see about doing that real quick.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys. We really do.
Yeah, I really, this has been really fun. It's nice to be able to interact with you guys. And really appreciate you joining us for this.
I think normally we're probably going to try to do this on Saturdays. Max was busy tomorrow, so we did it today. Either day works for me. We can do either one, but hopefully we'll be able to do it either on at least once a week, whether it's Friday or Saturday. We should be able to pull this off from now on. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this.
Well, Streamlabs apparently just popped up my channel before I was able to, so there we go.
What happened?
I think your bot popped up my link before I did.
Cool.
So,
yeah, like every 15 minutes or 12 minutes or something, it's set to post links to channels. So.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We had a lot of fun too.
Good. I see Dennis enjoyed it. He said this was really fun. I know some of the stuff we started talking off at first was very, very basic, but you guys, those of you who are seasoned players, got to remember we're here to, try and help everybody out. So we're not here just to just to chat with the veterans, but we got to cover basic stuff as well. I think next week we were going to talk about what to do and what not to do when you're in a crew, right? Is that what we decided on?
Yes. We'll talk about the crew stuff next week.
Because there's a lot of players that end up getting kicked out of their crews because they just don't do things right. So that's probably going to be next week's main conversation. So first probably 15 minutes or so, maybe 20 minutes, whatever. We'll get into the crew-related chat, and then we'll start doing the same thing where we kind of do the question and answers and stuff like that.
Yep.
All right, and if any of you guys would really like to show some extra support to this channel, you guys can now become channel members. I finally set that up. You guys don't have to, but you get some little badges next to your name, so you stand out in chat and in comments, and you get some custom emojis. Right now, the custom emojis are okay. I'm gonna remake those and make them a little better. I'll design some new ones here pretty soon. But yep. You guys are great. Thank you guys so much. You really make this a nice channel. It's just not me. It's me plus all of you guys that make a channel good. So always remember, if you guys have questions for me or for Max, don't leave Max's questions on my channel, but you can go over to his channel and leave some questions for him. Dave, thank you so much. Dave just subscribed. That is awesome, buddy. I can't thank you enough for that. I really, really appreciate that. You are amazing. But yeah, if you got questions for Max, head over to his channel. He'll try and get back to you if he can. If you ask questions on my channel, I always try to get back to you. I mean, I do sometimes get like 500 to 1,500 comments a day. They come in on new videos. They come in on old videos. All day long. It's like every time I pop on several times a day for about an hour each time generally. So if I do miss some of your questions, I apologize. I do miss some because of that type of reason, but I try very hard to get back to everybody. Alright, so Max, do you have anything else to say before we take off?
No, just thanks to everyone, and we'll definitely catch you again with another stream. So you guys just stay tuned.
Alright guys, this has been a lot of fun. One last time, thank you all so much for being here, and you all have a great day. Uh-oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I'm trying to end the stream, and I'm clicking on everything but YouTube, where the end button is, so alrighty. Alright guys, take it easy. Goodbye.
Take care now.
See y'all next time. Alright.